Here are 5 unique things that my husband and I do that really contribute to us having an amazing relationship. Number 1, we have 3 bank accounts. We have a joint bank account and 2 separate bank accounts. The joint bank account has the bill money that we have calculated out ahead of time, that he pays, say, 70% of the bills and I pay 30%. And we put those amounts into the joint account. And then from the joint account, we pay our bills. From the 2 other accounts, which one would be mine and one would be his, those are our accounts. Those are our money. So once we've paid our bills and whatever obligations that we've agreed to beforehand, our money is our money. We're able to spend it how we like. And that is so freeing because we both work full time and we're both grown adults. If I want to buy something or if he wants to buy something, we don't want to have to ask the other person. Number 2, I buy him gifts and spoil him on Valentine's Day. I get a lovely bouquet and usually a lovely gift and some other dinner, whatever nonsense we do on Valentine's Day. Usually we actually do it a couple days after, so we're saving money. Second tip right there. It's not just me that's getting spoiled on Valentine's Day. It's my husband. I love him. I love seeing him pampered. I love seeing him treated nicely. I love seeing him with a gift. I love seeing him open a gift. And just as I get a gift on Valentine's Day, so does he. He deserves it. We do very cheap, affordable date nights. We don't get extravagantly dressed up and go to these dinners that we can't afford. When we do a date night, it's usually hike, but more like a walk on these trails that we have around our house, a nice bike ride, walking around at an art crawl or different events that we have in our local community, things like that. We also like to hang out in our backyard. My husband's really spent a lot of time and effort to make our backyard a super hospitable place. We love zipping up our mosquito netting and putting our TV outside and watching a movie out there. It's really cool. So it's not about necessarily having extravagant date nights that we're posting on Instagram that look really nice and expensive. It's about quality time together and not spending a lot of money. Number 4, not everyone will be lucky enough to have this, but both of us have our own office. If he wants to hang a certain thing on the wall that I'm not really feeling, or if he wants to organize it in a certain way, there's no discussion. He doesn't need to come and ask me. It's really nice to know that you have that own space that you can go to, you can do your work. It's really worked for us that we've had our own spaces. Number 1, and this is going to be the weirdest thing ever, but we get separate groceries. We have been together for 13 years, married for 7 years this year, and we get separate groceries. Now, for us, it makes sense because my husband is vegan and I am not vegan. My husband does the cooking, so I do eat vegan quite often. For us, when we first started dating, this was something that I thought was not going to work. How could a vegan and a non-vegan make things work? We sat down, we made kind of a rough plan the first literal weeks that we were dating about how this could possibly work, especially before we lived together, that if I wanted to come over to his house and have a certain ingredient, I would bring it and vice versa. And then when we moved in together, it just sort of became that if we wanted a certain ingredient, we would go grab it at the grocery store on our way home from work. Though we have some basics in the house when it comes to specific items or specific vegan things or vice versa me. I'm not saying this is going to work for everyone, but I guess what I'm saying is each relationship needs to respect the fact that each person is their own person, especially if you're meeting somebody when they're 30 years old. They've lived an entire existence before you, and they're not just going to switch who they are on a dime because that's what you want. If you want to have respect in your home for your space, for your things, the way you want to do something, there has to be a bit of give for you to respect the way that they want to do something. And sometimes for us, that has just boiled out to we're going to do it differently. Let's say he really wanted ground pepper and I like just the pepper shaker. We would just have both. We would have a ground pepper shaker and a regular pepper shaker instead of fighting forever about which pepper was the correct pepper. Sometimes it's easier to just say, hey, you like it this way, I like it that way, let's do both.